Well, look at what we have here. A shipping war. But not just any type of shipping war, no. When you think of a shipping war, you think of two characters being together. For instance, the recent shipping war that happened in the anime community was Emilia and X Subaru and Rim X Subaru. Many were talking about that, and I want to be honest right now, Emilia fans, you're in denial, it's Rim X Subaru. But the big point is that this episode focuses on shipping wars. Now, the shipping war we're used to, that doesn't happen with this episode, no. What happens in this episode is advanced shipping war. Like, this is on a whole new fucking level. You know how many members of the anime community were bickering and arguing on who Subaru should be with when it came to ReZero? Well, that has nothing on what this was in this episode. So apparently, there is something called who should be on bottom and who should be on top when it comes to the relationship. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, think about this for a second. The main dispute or bickering in this episode, the conflict, is shipping wars, obviously. But it's not just any type of shipping war. It's about who is the one on top and who's on bottom. And so that would mean that it doesn't matter if these two characters, like if both girls think these two characters should be together, it doesn't matter. They're really concerned about who is the one that's taking the lead and who is the one that's, you know, actually on the bottom. And when you see how this episode was displayed, I'm like, I was unaware of this. I was completely unaware that there was a whole new level of shipping that I was not even aware about. So, kiss him, not me. I gotta say, I've been a part of shipping wars for a long time. I've shipped characters and stuff, and, you know, this is the first time I've ever seen something of this high quality. For instance, according to shipping wars, like this advanced. I've never seen this type of argument before. So, well done. Well done. If there really is a section of the anime/manga community that really bicker about this stuff, I'm just completely shocked because I have never seen it, especially something like this. So, if anyone has been a part of something like this, like, not an argument to, like, let's say Emilia X Subaru / you know, like, Rim X Subaru, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, you know, who is on bottom, who is on top. Like, if anyone's ever been a part of a shipping war like this, please say so in the comments below, because this is my first time I've ever heard something like this in an anime. I've never seen this before, and that's what made this episode so much more enjoyable, because it was taken to a whole new level of shipping war, because I'm like, damn, they're getting really fired up for who should be together, and who should be the main lead, and I mean, when they're going down making fanfics and stuff, I'm like, holy shit, I know about this stuff. Like, I'm gonna be straight up honest with all of you, okay? When I saw the two main female characters making fanfics, I'm like, oh my, this is something you hear all the time. Like, you know, when you have two characters, you know, being shipped together, you see someone going online and make, like, a fanfic story. That happens all the time for almost any series. And when I saw them making fanfics and all that, they're doing a competition, I'm like, oh my god, this would actually happen. This would legit happen. Like, there's no joking. Like, there's no joke here. It would legit happen. And I'm like, yo, kiss him, not me. Like, just straight up showcasing a darker side to the anime community, because this happens all the time. And I'm like, this series, it knows how to strike you in a certain way, and I'm like, damn. It was funny, though. It was extremely funny. I was laughing my ass off. I was, because I just couldn't believe how funny this episode was because of what it was focused on. And one of the better parts of this episode, I would say, is when Nishina, she is introduced to our main female character for the first time, and we get to see how she fell in love with her in the first place. And when we all think about how she's, you know, kind of reacted to our main female character, how she's defended her, cared about how she is, and worried about her, and then also she didn't really, you know, it didn't matter to her if, you know, the main female character was kind of chubby. She didn't really care at all, and now we kind of know why. And I know some of it was very serious and it was kind of sweet, but at the same time, it really just made me laugh at the connection of these two characters, because let's look at this. So, Nishina, she's the type of character that's a rich girl. She has the very stereotypical type background. She's a rich girl, she's in a family to where many people look down on her, saying, oh, the reason why she gets so well, like so many good grades, or why she gets these type of awards is because her family donates to these, you know, charities or schools or whatever, and then she gets her name on the board and she gets higher praise because of this, and that's kind of how the children always were around her. Because she was a rich girl, she was constantly treated differently, she was probably bullied, or she was looked down upon, just all that type of stuff. It's the stereotypical rich girl that isn't like, you know, a bitchy rich girl. Like, usually there's two types of rich characters in an anime or manga. Usually you have the one that's very stuck up and just a straight up ass, or you have one that's just misunderstood or someone that's picked on. And we get to see Nishina, that is the one that's getting picked on, and she just didn't really have a place in school throughout her entire life. And when she finally came to this public school, she met someone that didn't really judge her for who she was, which was our main female character. But overall, though, the situation, I understand you had to where the main female character wasn't judging her, but it's funny with how they met up. So, let's kind of explain it. The main female character, she's running late or whatever, and she jumps up and slams straight into a group, and then Nishina, she's like, oh, great, like, flying body attack you just did, and I'm like, did she just say that? Like, great flying body attack. Now, this is when the main female character was kind of chubby, and when she hit this person, I'm like, so this is the moment to when she fell in love with her. I'm like, yo. And then when she came to her booth and bought all of her dojin, I'm like, yep, this explains a lot. This definitely explains a lot. So, the episode surprised me with the backstory to why she fell in love with her, but it's still funny regardless, and I still love the character, respect the character, and just the way the shipping war was handled, it was tasteful, it was, because it shows a side of the anime/manga community that happens all the time. But let's talk about one of the main moral messages here that we need to take note from, and that would be how the two made up in the very end. Now, this is something that many might not have understood. Maybe I'm throwing too much, like, I guess, meaning on the scene, but this is how I look at it. Now, many of us, all of us most likely, have someone you're very close to. Someone that is a friend to you, someone you could talk to, just someone. It's someone you could talk to. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's family member. It's just, you probably have someone you could talk with and talk about personal matters, or you've known for a very long time, and you're willing to just, you know, show your true self to them. And often, when you're close to someone, you tend to get in arguments, like where you just straight up get pissed off, and you don't want to speak to this person, and then eventually you just make up. And the funny thing is this stuff happens all the time to the people you're close to, and it's something very, very petty. Like, what I'm getting at is that it could be something about, oh, your favorite drink. Like, oh, my favorite drink is Pepsi, your favorite drink is Coca-Cola, and we start getting into a fucking argument over what our favorite drink is, and then we get mad at each other, maybe not speak to each other for the rest of the day, but then you make up, and it betters your relationship. And what I'm getting at is true friends bicker, they argue, but then they make up, and then everything is fine. And that's kind of what was happening here. It was friends having a dispute, a petty dispute. Like, it was very petty, but they made up in the very end and managed to become even stronger friends. So, I feel like that's kind of what the message was. Maybe they weren't trying to, you know, imply that, but that's how I took it, because, I mean, the way I grew up and all that, usually if you had a fight with someone and he made up and all that, that just means you're very close with the person. And, I mean, if you argue about something so fucking stupid, it just shows you how, you know, much of a bond you have with this person, because, I mean, what other way to say that you're close to someone than bickering about something very fucking stupid. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.